So we were talking about we've achieved again a calm state, and we've talked about the dogs nudging at you because they're boxers. It's pretty logical or normal for them to paw at you. But if they nudge at you, paw at you, scratch at you, bark at you for attention, and you pet them, you're validating that they are they have authority because they can tell you what to do and you comply. So I consider petting a dog our way of paying the dog. So I'm not going to pay the dog for doing what it wants to do. I want to pay it for doing what I want to do. So what I would suggest is anytime in the future either dog comes up and nudges you or scratches at you, you give it a counter order. Sit or lie down. Sitting and lying down are more subordinate position, which is going to go a long way with your dogs. And so as soon as they sit, then we pet them for sitting. Now, when a dog is proud about what it's done, its nose is parallel to the ground or tilted upward. You've probably seen one of them with a special toy or treat, and they're running around the house feeling really good with their nose in the air. I want the dog to feel good about doing the things I want them to do. I call these desired behaviors. So what I do is I hold up my hand like this. For her, it looks like I have something in my hand. So no matter where my hand goes, she's following it because it looks like I'm holding something. So you have to slightly curl your fingers up, but if you close your hand, that's saying it's not for you. So as soon as I did that, she looked away. I go like that, you see the ears come forward, and then and also the lower you go, the more it's for the dog. The higher you go, the less it's for the dog. So what I do is that when I call a dog, I start, I'll go over that off camera. But basically, I like to scratch them under their chin to facilitate that nose up orientation. So they give you an order to pet me, tell them to sit. As soon as they sit, then within 3 seconds, I reach over and I scratch them under their chin, kind of this sort of motion. And I say the word sit as soon as I start petting. Okay. Just once. Now, if they're already sitting here, ask them to come and sit over here, or ask them to lie down. They have to change their state. So that's basically, you don't want to give in. And I hate to say petting the dogs is wrong, but we never want to pet them when they're excited because, like we talked about earlier, you guys have been reinforcing some of the behaviors you don't want. So we tell the dog to sit, and we scratch on his chin and say sit. Now what's going to happen is the dog is going to transition because, from now on, when I go up and scratch at the human, they don't pet me anymore. But if I sit down, they immediately start petting me. So what will happen is the dogs will transition, and this is more of a follower's mindset, and they'll come and sit in front of you and look at you. Now, it's important when they do that we do reach over and pet them. Now, if your dogs don't know how to lay down, do they know how to lay down a command?
Yeah, they're kind of stubborn with it.
Okay.
Normally, they'll only do it if I have a treat.
Okay. So what you want to do, because they're stubborn, is we want to reward that. Now, what I would do is as soon as they lay down on the floor, because we're not going to allow them on the couch anymore, they're probably going to come and lay down here, especially in the summertime. As soon as they come and lay down on the floor, you can reach over and pet them and say the command word for whatever it is for down. My dogs, I say crash. They flop down to the ground. And the reason I use that is dogs can read your human facial expression. You kind of smiled when I said that. So it's funny. And so coming up with fun command words, I think, is beneficial. So as soon as your dog lays down on her own, you didn't ask her to, but you within 3 seconds start petting her and scratching her behind her ear, on her butt, or wherever her favorite place is while you say the command word down or crash. After a while, I call this passive training, but after a while, you say crash, and they lay down to get that massage because they associate the two things together. Okay, petting with a purpose, and I don't want to say that you can't pet your dogs in another capacity, but for you guys, I would really put a premium, at least for the next 2 weeks, of not petting them at all unless they do something for you first. After that, then you can kind of get in a point where they're laying here. She's laying here. She's being good. She's been there already in that state for longer than 3 seconds. I can reach over and pet her and massage her a little bit. But you have to be careful. Some dogs, if I reach over and pet her, massage her, I'm guessing she's going to get up and get excited. So when that happens, I immediately stop petting as soon as she starts getting excited. Most people confuse excited for happy when it comes to dogs, but a dog can be happy and calm. Does not have to be excited to be happy. So petting with a purpose is probably the most bang for your buck. You're going to get the best return on your investment, the amount of time versus the benefit that you get for the dog. After a while, it teaches the dog, if you want something from the human, you got to earn it. And that helps their mindset say, I have to do something for you. That puts the dog in a follower mindset. Right. I would recommend you come up with, I usually recommend paycheck. So if you hear the word somebody say paycheck, you immediately stop petting the dog. Because you're not even going to realize that you do it. You're going to reach over watching TV and pet the dog when it's pawing at you because you've been doing it for a long time. So if you help each other, don't complain and don't chastise. Just say paycheck. And even if you did ask the dog to sit and you're petting it for that, and the person was in the other room, they didn't see it, you immediately pull off because you want to show that you're in solidarity with the humans. and then ask the dog to sit. Asking the dog to sit is not a lot. So asking it to sit or lay down or move around, that gives you another opportunity to practice again. But after a while, like I said, they're going to come up and start sitting in front of you and looking at you, and then you make sure you pet them. Otherwise, they're going to revert back to the other behavior.
Okay.
But petting with a purpose is a very powerful way to go about it, and I love the fact we gave them a timeout, and now they're both pretty much asleep. All right, that doesn't help us with the petting with a purpose part, but I like this energy. This is a lot better.